Hello and welcome to another vlog. I would say what vlog number this is, but I have absolutely no idea because I'm still like 2 to 3 videos behind in editing. Also, I'd just like to say that it's a good thing you can't see the rest of my room because it's covered in laundry. I haven't done laundry since I got here, but I did it this morning. Well, we left off last week on Tuesday, so on Wednesday I went to my first screenwriting class. This was at 9 a.m. on Headingley campus, and it seemed like such a relief. I got to this class and I was like, I can do it. I can write a script. No problem. And my professor was very friendly, and like everyone in the class kind of already knew each other, because in colleges in England you like stay with people in your course or your major throughout your whole career, and I was kind of like the newbie, but everyone was really friendly, so I kind of felt like I fit in. And we had an hour break between the lecture and the tutorial, and I got a coffee because I desperately needed it. I really didn't want to get it, but it just came to be that I needed to have the coffee. Then I went to my tutorial. We went through another PowerPoint really, and we talked about screenwriting and the industry, and we got to go early, which was super nice because I got to go home even earlier. So after my writing class, I went back to City Campus and I went to the Henry Moore Institute, which is this big sculpture gallery, and it only really has one exhibit on at a time, so there's not really like a staple exhibit. There were like probably 3 different rooms, and one was like a closet, and the closet was filled with like newspapers from top to bottom, and then different things had been circled so you could kind of try to like work out her theme while being surrounded by this room of newspapers, which was really cool. One of the other rooms, the artist worked a lot with colored water in like sealed packaging, and the work, honestly, some of it looked like frozen like ice pops. I was here for it. And then there were some other work with like sand and then like pigmented color in sands and leaving trails, so that was really cool. And then another exhibit they did like wire and pantyhose that was like stretched, and it was supposed to kind of discuss the ways in which women as mothers are like pulled in so many different directions. So I did that, and then I went to the Corn Exchange and just kind of took in the ambiance there, and then I just went home and chilled out because I had been out all day, done a lot of exploring, and it was just time to relax, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Oh, and also on Wednesday I went to Trinity Leeds, which is the huge shopping center right next to this little church, which is, I feel like it's ironic in some way, but whatever. This huge mall, I went in and I just kind of looked around just so I could familiarize myself with what was around me, the different shops that were available to me, and I went into a toy store and it was the best thing. I forgot how much fun it is to just go into a toy store. The simple things. Thursday was also kind of a get your life together day. My room gets very messy very fast, and I feel like I am a pretty clean person, but this little room, it gets real messy. So I have to clean it every once in a while. And also, I'm still not caught up on vlogs, so I was doing that. And I was just like generally taking care of my life. And I made I did some meal prep, so it's always good. But then in the evening I went to the dry dock, which is a boat. It's a boat on the land where you can get low price pub food and alcohol for a reasonable price. And I went there with the Art Society. I met up with them, and I had a passion fruit cider, and we just kind of talked about art and the cool art galleries that were around us and our interests. We did music, and then of course the pub put on like a quiz night because that's big here to do a quiz night. So we did that, and I kind of just made new friends, and it was really nice. So I hope to go to another one of their events really soon. So then on Friday at 9 a.m. I went to my Literatures of Romanticism class, and we kind of just had a general intro about romanticism, like I said, the lectures, you just kind of sit in there with a bunch of people and take notes at the PowerPoint. And then I went home afterwards. It was just from 9 to 10. And then I did a little meal prep, did a little life getting together. Then I went back at 3 to 5 for my, I think they call it a seminar, because it's just kind of like small group work. And we discussed some poetry and kind of got to know each other. So I will need one textbook for this semester. It's right here. It's like a big book of all of the things we will ever need to read for the class, compiled into this nice little book that I got for a student discount, so who can argue with that? I got it at Blackwell's, which was kind of interesting because there's a whole strip of stores that are just like in townhouses. Like a Tesco Express, a Subway, and Blackwell's. They're like townhouses, but they're not, they're stores. So that's where I got my textbook. And then I went home and had butter chicken because that's my new fave. This is my rose tea. My diffuser is also pumpkin rose in here. It's coordination. So, on Saturday at 5 a.m. Wait, let's rewind a little bit. I woke up at 4 a.m. But I met up with my 2 American exchange student friends at like 5:15 at the Student Union, which is a 2-minute walk from where I live. And then we caught a bus at 5:45 a.m. to London. And that bus took 4 hours. 4 hours. Just straight on to London for 4 hours. And I slept the whole time. And I was kind of like curled up next to the window. So when I stood up, it was not comfortable for me. The first thing we did when we got off the bus was go to a Starbucks, and thankfully my American Starbucks gift card worked at the Starbucks, so I got free coffee and free food. And it was like, thank God, because I was going to be lugging my backpack around all day, which is what had all of my items for this whole weekend trip in it. And I had been on a bus since 5:45 a.m. So you can imagine the need for coffee at that hour. I went to Buckingham Palace first, and oh my god, I forgot how busy Buckingham Palace is. It is like the ultimate London tourist destination. You like cannot move there. There are so many people there. But after that, we took a little walk down Hyde Park, which was very nice. It was so nice to see grass and trees again. I mean, we have those on Headingley campus, but this was just a very big expanse of grass. I was very thankful for it. I saw some dogs. It was great. And we were making our way to Abbey Road. Now, on the way, we walked past the Marble Arch and a giant statue of a horse head. But when we got to Abbey Road, I was kind of like not knowing exactly what to expect. I was like, is it going to be a little touristy? Is it going to be closed off? It wasn't closed off, it's literally just a crosswalk. And there were probably 30 people there, and what you had to do was just go for it when there was no traffic coming and get your picture and stay there until all of the traffic is like laying on their horn, and then you like cross to the other side. On the way back from Abbey Road, we walked down the Strand, and I didn't actually realize we were on the Strand till after I got home, and I was like, there were a lot of stores there, and a million people. That was the Strand. So we saw the Strand. And then we walked to Piccadilly Circus, which is kind of this big circular shopping area, and we saw the little statue that's in the center, and I got some tea. Here is my tea. It's Alice in Wonderland. It's very cute. You can see, is it focusing? You can see the different Alice characters. It's very cute. And it's English rose, and it definitely tastes like rose. I was very happy with that. And it actually has roses in it. Little rose. After the tea shop, we went to a pub for some fish and chips, as you do. And then we took off for the big sights. We went to Trafalgar Square, which is where there are a lot of beautiful fountains and statues and street performers like the Grim Reaper. And we saw a chalk festival, and it was right in front of the art gallery. And then we walked down through London We saw Scotland Yard. We saw the Houses of Parliament. There was actually a protest in front of them, funny enough. Well, we saw Big Ben, which was all under construction, so you could only see the literal face of the clock. But then we saw the London Eye, and then we walked down South Bank. So South Bank is where the Shrek experience is. Not sure about that, but it's also where the London Dungeon is. Never done that, but I don't think I could because I am a weenie. And it's also where you get on the London Eye. We did none of those things, but we did walk through the little carnival area where there were like really pretty string lights, and there was also a skate park. So we said, see you later boy to some skater boys. And then we walked past a food festival and the girls got ice cream. We went to a little wharf and then we just kept making our way around and we saw Shakespeare's Globe and the Millennium Bridge, which is a Harry Potter spot. We saw the Shard from a distance, but we saw it. And then we walked across Millennium Bridge and we got to St. Paul's Cathedral. There's actually a little park next to St. Paul's Cathedral, so we just kind of sat in there for a little bit and took in St. Paul's Cathedral and all its grandness. And we saw a couple of squirrels and it was just nice because it was starting to like be 6-7 p.m. It was like winding down, the sun was setting, and then we took the underground back to our hostel, which is right outside of King's Cross Station. I mean like 1-2 minute walk from King's Cross Station. And the hostel, it was alright. It was dorm style, so we were in a room with 16 other people in bunk beds. I was on the top bunk, so you take what you get. The showers are actually really nice though. Like, I did not expect the water to be hotter than it is at this flat, but it happens. You could really feel every spring in the bed, but if you just need a good night's sleep, the hostel is dirt cheap for London accommodations, so I can't complain that much. And then after we were at the hostel for a little bit, we went to Ice Bar London, which was on the Strand, and we took an Uber there because we were done walking, and it was a 48-minute walk, so we were like, no thank you. But when you get to the ice bar, you get a time slot, so you're only in there for half an hour, and the pricing isn't too bad for that. I think we paid like £16, but it's really an experience because you get there and they throw a parka over you. So you're in your clothes with this huge parka with this fuzzy hood, and then you have ski gloves attached to the parka, and you go inside and everything is made of ice. All of the walls are made of ice. Like, I was literally scratching things to make sure it was made of ice, and everything was made of ice. And it was just like the main London like sites were made out of ice. Like, there was a lion. I don't know what the lion was. The lion was just kind of there. And then there was a taxi made of ice that you could go sit in. The glasses that you drank your cocktails out of were ice. Like, they were straight up ice. So as I was drinking, I could feel the glass like melting. And then we just kind of like were dancing and enjoying the ambiance, and it was really nice actually. It was a good time. And we just kind of went home after that. And we saw a few shops on Carnaby Street. It was like an Urban Decay store, which was interesting because I've never seen that before. But we did try to walk a little bit to make our Uber ride be a little cheaper, as you do. And it was kind of nice because we could see some of the shops that we didn't get to see during the day in a different part of London. And then we had a alright night's sleep at the hostel. And then day 2, we woke up bright and early at 7:15, and we went to platform 9 3/4. So platform 9 3/4 isn't actually between platforms 9 and 10. It's actually like, as soon as you walk into King's Cross Station, there's a wall and it says platform 9 3/4 on it. I'm assuming this is because you don't want to have a lot of traffic in an actual train station. I decided I was going to get the full tourist experience, and I got a photo at platform 9 3/4, and while we waited we got some Starbucks and Cafe Nero, which are like the coffee shops that were available in the station. So we fueled up on coffee, got our picture, and then we set off for a 40-minute underground journey to Kew. And what's in that little town is the Royal Botanical Gardens and the Treetop Walk. So once we arrived in Kew, we were fortunate enough to find a little shop that would hold our luggage for the day, and we took off to Kew, which was honestly probably a 10-minute walk from the station. If you can see this is a map of Kew Gardens. It's very large and there's a lot to do there, and it was actually founded by Princess Augusta of Wales, who was the mother of King George III, and she has a tiny little castle there that you can go in, and then around the castle there's an herb garden for pharmaceutical purposes, and there is also a wishing well and a cute little fountain and that sort of thing. So it's kind of in one corner, but then there is, here we go, are you ready for this? There's a woodland garden, a rock garden, kitchen garden. There's a giant Zen garden with a little Japanese house and rocks that are like raked around. There's a rose garden. There are 3 glass greenhouses from the Victorian era. One is a little smaller and it houses water lilies. So this huge water lily garden is inside. The other is a palm greenhouse, and it feels like a rainforest inside. It is so humid, but it has all of these tropical trees, and it has like hibiscus plants in it. And the other one just has different varieties of flowers. So those last 2, you can actually go up a set of spiral staircase, and then you can walk around the entire perimeter from the top of the greenhouse and kind of like see down on all of the plants. And it says some of the most exotic plants and rare plants from around the world, and I believe it because there were a million plants there. And then after we looked at all the plants, we did the treetop walk. So you walk up a spiral staircase, and then it's just like a little bridge path, and you can just like look down on all the Royal Botanical Gardens, and it's honestly probably one of the most magical experiences I've had. Like, that whole day was just so magical because I was surrounded by all of these crazy wild plants and like surrounded by roses in a rose garden with like holly bushes shaped like little gumdrops, and then I was like in the trees, like just walking around the tops of trees. It was really, really an amazing experience. It was really, really one of the most magical days that I've had like in my whole life. And it started out with Harry Potter, and it went to plants. So nothing in there is bad. That is all the good stuff right there. That is all the makings of a perfect Sunday. After we spent our time at the Royal Botanical Gardens, we had to say goodbye. We went back into London and we walked all the way to the bus station, and it's kind of like a tiny little airport for buses. And you have your ticket and you wait for your bus to come and you give it to the bus driver, and then you get on board, and this time I was actually facing the other girls. There was this little table, so we were both facing each other. It wasn't super comfortable for sleeping because you have that table in front of you, but at least we were together, I guess, and I slept the whole way back. The bus ride was from 4 to 8:45, and I slept basically the whole time. So, I'm getting tired now. Yeah, the bus ride was from 4 to around 8:30, 8:45. And it was a little bit of a walk back, like a 20-minute walk back. So as soon as I got home, I FaceTimed my dad because it was his birthday. But after that, I went to sleep. And then I slept until like 12 because I was so exhausted. I had adventured so much over the weekend that I deserved to sleep in the next day. And I didn't have class, so you know, it worked out. So when I woke up very late on Monday, I first headed off to Pound World because it was October 1st. And you know what that means? Halloween season. And Halloween isn't as big over here, but you know, I have to bring the Halloween spirit into our home. Spirit as in ghost. I did pick up quite a few decorations, but I think everything looks really great. Like, I'm gonna put in some clips of all my decorations right here. And I think it looks pretty good. Like, I obviously saved some of the favorites for my personal room, but I had to do up the kitchen as well. And every time I walk in there, I just get this little fall wind of spookiness, and it just like makes me happy inside to have all those little Halloween decorations around me. But that evening I did go to my second social of the year. I went to the Feminist Society social, and we met at the Student Union and then walked to Caspa's, which is a dessert restaurant where they have crepes, waffles, sundaes, cakes, gâteaux, which is just a fancy cake, don't let them trick you, gelato, like all of the things. And I got a hot chocolate and a gâteau. It was very good. And then we went to Weatherspoons, and I didn't get anything at Weatherspoons because I had canned soup at home that was calling my name. Anyways, at Weatherspoons I just kind of talked to everyone there and we got to know each other, and I really feel like I made some quality friendships that night. And I really like getting out and going to these clubs because I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but it's a little difficult to meet everyone at the college in England. I've been told that a lot of times you just get stuck with people in your course because you have all of your classes with them until the end of time, and then your flatmates. So there's really not a lot of opportunity to like meet everyone on campus and people from different courses, that kind of thing, unless you're really trying and going out and meeting people through clubs and such. So that's what I'm doing. I've got another full week ahead of me. Friday's my birthday and we're going to The Alchemist, which is a fancy restaurant slash bar, and then the Leeds Light Festival is this week, which is gonna be a blast. And then on Saturday I'm off to Liverpool, home of the Beatles. So this week is looking promising as well, and I can't wait until next week when I can tell you all about it. I'll see you then. Bye!